containers and Graco baby strollers in merger talks with Jarden, the owner of big consumer names like Yankee Candle, Mr. Coffee, and Crock-Pot. On Wall Street, stocks sold off today after oil prices took a tumble, taking energy company shares lower. The Dow, the oil fell to a 7-year low, closing below $38 a barrel, and with that, the Dow was off 117 points. The Nasdaq down 40. ExxonMobil and Chevron, the biggest decliners today in the Dow. And fund giant PIMCO naming former Fed chair Ben Bernanke and the one-time head of the European Central Bank, Jean-Claude Trichet, and Gordon Brown, ex-Prime Minister of the UK, to its advisory board. Tom Busby, CNBC.
Colonel Sanders here with another important holiday message from KFC. This year, don't get the one you love some lame, boring gift like jewelry or toys or a new car or any other junk. No, get that special someone what they really want. Exactly. A KFC $5 fill-up with 100% white meat, popcorn, chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink. It is the perfect gift for that important person in your life who gets hungry right around lunchtime. Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's finger-licking good.
Available for limited time only. Pricing and participation may vary. Tax extra.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is our New Year's gift to you. Circle this date, Friday, January 15th. You're invited to start the new year off right with a subscription to BuySellMakeOffer.com. Some other selling sites can be sketchy, and even others will charge you a fee on every item you list. But with BuySellMakeOffer.com, you can sell your washer, dryer, cars, or even your home with no per-item fees. And you can use Skype, make a video. You can actually see the person you're buying from, or they can see you, all to better sell your product. Wouldn't you like a feeling of security when you buy or sell? That's why we call it BuySellMakeOffer.com. And you don't have to wait until January 15th to find out what the buzz is all about. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and type in your email address so you'll know exactly when the fun will begin. The first 30 days are on us, and then it's as little as $7.95 per month to sell up to 50 items. Join the revolution in online selling with BuySellMakeOffer.com.
Well, good afternoon. It's 3:03. I'm Di Rice with the very latest in live local news here on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. Pearl Harbor survivors are remembering those who lost their lives 74 years ago when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. Scott Pringle was at a ceremony today in New York City.
Clark Simmons says it feels like yesterday. The 94-year-old Brooklyn native was aboard the USS Utah, recalling the chaplain saying Mass, and then he says the sky was blackened.
As the machine gun bullets were strafing the deck, he says, God bless you, man your battle suit, man your battle station. And many of the fellows never got to the battle station.
And added, we didn't know what was happening. All we could do was try and save our lives. I'm Scott Pringle aboard the USS Intrepid.
And here at home, 3 men who used hand tools to rob the Ben Bridge jewelry store in the Galleria at Tyler yesterday in Riverside prompted a massive police response due to earlier reports of a shooting. The suspects remained at large. It went out over the police channels as a shooting because apparently people heard the sound of breaking glass and they confused it with gunfire. That's according to Riverside Police Chief Sergio Diaz. More than 30 police vehicles responded, including several units from Rialto and San Bernardino. Officers were geared up with assault rifles. Inland Empire weather, some clouds out there today and tomorrow, actually throughout the whole entire week, with a chance of rain by Thursday and Friday today. And, the highs for the next 3 days into the low to mid 80s. And then by Thursday and Friday, we're going to have highs into the 70s and then the 60s, respectively. Right now, we are at 80 degrees here in San Bernardino, and checking out your drive, there is an accident in Chino Hills on the 71 at Butterfield Ranch Road. It's got the left lane blocked in that vicinity. And in Corona, there's an accident also in the left lane of the 91 just before Green River Road. That is on the eastbound side. Other than that, Waterman is still closed, both the northbound and southbound directions here in San Bernardino between Orange Show Road and Hospitality Lane. That is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Brought to you by Covered California. It's more than just healthcare, it's life care. Find free local in-person help or enroll online today at coveredca.com.
Did you know Cover California can help you find a low-cost quality health care plan that's absolutely right for you and your family? Did you know there's coverage for unexpected emergencies and everyday aches and pains? Did you know free preventative care like blood pressure and cholesterol screenings are also provided to stop small problems from getting bigger? Well, now you know.
Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com to find free, local, in-person help or enroll online by December 15th to have coverage by January 1st.
Welcome to Foster to Foster, and now here's your host, Dr. Anissa McNeil.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Foster to Foster Radio. This afternoon, we have a wonderful subject to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about what happens to foster youth as they age out of the foster care system. What you'll know to be true is here in California, we are one of the few states that allow foster youth to remain in our system from the point that they are 18 to 21 years old. But when they are 18 to 21, the foster care system becomes voluntary. So what does that mean, Dr. McNeil? That means that these young people have to volunteer to stay within the foster care system, and it also means that they are responsible for many of the actions that happen. So let me try to frame that. Let me try to put this conversation into everyday language, wherein previously they had to have a social worker that was responsible for where they would live, what appointments they would make, or a group home manager or a foster mom that may make appointments for them or help guide them. Once they turn 18, they become the lead and they begin to guide themselves. And you are probably thinking, if you're out there and you have a young adult in your household, 17, 18, 19 years old, you're probably thinking, wow, Dr. McNeil, my teenager, my young adult needs help guiding themselves. And you're exactly right. That's why we're doing this show today. We want to find out. We want to hear from the voices of foster youth. More than me telling you the story, today I want to take a pause and I want to hear their voices. I want you to hear what it's like in their own words. What is it like to turn 18 and know that I can volunteer to stay in foster care or I can exit out? Okay, so today I'm so pleased that we have quite a few young adults on the line with us. But before I bring them live on air as our guest today, I want to tell you, what does this look like in America? In America today, we have about 400,000 kids, we call them kids, that exit the foster care system, meaning they are 18 years old. And the statistics here are heartbreaking. And this was a recent article that was advertised on Yahoo News in the parenting section on July 27th, 2015. And Yahoo News reported this. There are 400,000 kids that exit the foster care system, and approximately 20,000 kids will age out of the system each year. About 25% of them do not have a high school diploma, and nearly 40% of them have been homeless. 33% of them do not have enough food at some point within the last year, and 60% of young men commit a crime and become a convicted felon. About half struggle with substance abuse. Further, only half will be employed by the age of 24, while 71% of the women will be pregnant by the age 21. When you hear those statistics of foster youth that are ages 18 to 24 here in the United States, I'm overwhelmed. My heart is broken to hear that, because I'm not just talking about some young person. I'm talking about a young person that's just like myself. I was in foster care, and I could be one of these numbers. So without further ado, I want to introduce to the listeners the young people that we have on our line with us today. Good afternoon. How are you?
Hi. Hello.
Hi. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself one at a time. Xavier, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Xavier. Welcome to Foster to Foster radio show. Xavier joins us from Northern California. How are you today, Xavier?
I'm doing swell. Thanks for asking.
Wonderful, and I'm so pleased to have you. Julian, are you on the line with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, good afternoon, Julian. How are you?
Hi, good.
Wonderful. Welcome to Foster radio show. It's a pleasure to have you here. Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, wonderful. Amanda, are you here? Amanda probably will join us later. Xavier and Julian join us from Northern California. And today also we have our good friends from the Right Way Foundation. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon.
Hi. Can you please introduce yourself to our listening audience one at a time, please?
Hi, my name is Mario.
Hi, I'm Justina. And I'm Jasmine.
Hi, Mario, Justina, and Jasmine. They all join us here in Southern California. And now I'm pleased. Thank you for joining us. I'm pleased to let our listening audience know that I have the pleasure of working with both of the foster youth community there in Northern California as well as Southern California. So to all the young adults on the line, welcome to Foster radio show. And so I'm going to call you by name. In this segment, I would like to hear from the young men. Mario, Julian, Julian, Xavier, and Mario. I would like for you to describe to our listening audience what it was like for you to exit the foster care system. And I'd like to start with you, Julian. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, at first it was kind of weird leaving foster care because I was in the system since I was 8 years old, so it was like, I knew a lot since then. It was kind of bittersweet too because I had really good social workers and, I had some good foster homes that I really missed.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy and it was an experience.
So you had a good experience. You stated that you had a couple of good foster homes that you missed when you exited the system, and you also stated that you had.
I felt like I got pretty lucky.
Okay, and that you had a good social worker. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier, can you tell us what it was like for you as you exited the foster care system?
Well, it was scary. It was confusing. More so, I was just lost. I wasn't sure where I was going to go. It was a real quick decision for my foster parents. It was already set in stone. 18 years old is when you're going, and so I had my bags packed and ready to go. But I knew this day was dawning, and it was inevitable. And at that time, I prepared myself ahead of time, and I built up a decent network, and I was able to find resources like THP. It's called Transitional Housing Program for foster youth. They have 2 years of housing, and they work with you. And every 3 months, they increase your rent $50. So you start paying nothing, and then it's $50. And three more months later, it's $50 more, and slowly you transition into independence. And a lot of opportunities were presented to me, as well as scholarships. And with that, helped me at it being 18. But I was scared. I was just purely scared.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Xavier. Thank you. And I'm going to come back to you in a while, Xavier, and we're going to talk about some of those opportunities, okay? Mario, can you describe for our listeners what was exiting the foster care system like for you?
Well, I'm currently doing AB12, so it wasn't as scary because technically I'm still in the foster system.
Okay. So
And I'm currently enrolled in college. I'm 19, so I still have a few more years until all the benefits, look out for me.
Okay, so Mario, you're 19. Can you explain to our listening audience, what does AB12 mean? What is AB12? That's actually when you get to volunteer to stay in the foster care system, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so you volunteered to stay in the system. So can you tell us, what does that look like? When you turned 18, what happened to you next?
Basically, when I turned 18, I had nowhere to go, so I just chose to stay and did AB12.
And when you say you had nowhere to go, is that you didn't know of your family members? You didn't describe to our listeners what you mean when you say nowhere to go.
I had no family members. I was basically, alone. So I just used the resources that were given to me, so I just stayed.
Wonderful, wonderful, Mario. And Mario, your story mirrors the story of many foster youth. What age were you when you entered the foster care system?
I entered at 14.
At 14. And so many of for our listening audience, if you don't know what we title foster youth that are ages 18 to 21, we call them TAY, transitional age youth. And in that population, we find that many foster youth, when they are within that population, they have nowhere to go when they exit the foster care system, meaning their resources, like will you move with a mom, a dad, a cousin, an aunt, those family connections are not in place. And so they find themselves with nowhere to go. And that's why we see statistics that read that 40% of foster youth end up homeless. That, America, that listener, we have to do something to address that. How can we allow 50% of them to become homeless? I know we can do better. We have to stop for a short break at this time, but when we come back from our commercial break, we're going to hear from Justina and Jasmine, and they're going to tell us what their experience was like exiting the foster care system. I think we have a little snafu here, so that's wonderful. While our producer is queuing that up, Justina, can you tell us what your experience was like exiting the foster care system?
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Justina, and my experience was a little traumatic. I was homeless. I exited with no benefits, and I kind of had a rough time getting on my feet. But I'm at the Right Way Foundation, and they are helping me. But before then, I was sleeping in a car, and I'm in the right place, and they put me in the right direction. Even though, yeah.
Justina, how long were you in the foster care system? At what age did you enter?
At birth.
From birth to 18?
Yes.
Wow, Justina, that breaks my heart. And that breaks my heart for more reasons than one, because I know what it's like to be homeless. I, too, have experienced homelessness. Jasmine, can you tell us a little about your experience exiting the foster care system?
Well, my experience was, because I didn't graduate high school, my social worker didn't give me any housing resources. So I ended up leaving the foster care system. The ironic part was I was a part of the crew who helped change the law from that helped change AB12, that helped make AB12 come about. But because I wasn't in the right age bracket, in the right bubble, I wasn't I wasn't qualified for any of those services either. But
Jasmine, can you tell our listeners, can you explain to us a little bit what you mean by not being in the right bubble, not in the right age bracket?
well, if you were 18 and still in the system, you could apply for AB 12. If you were 19 and out of the system, you couldn't go back and apply for AB 12. So AB 12 applied for everybody that was 18 and who's going to come out after that. And even there's still even more gaps in AB 12 that are being worked on. And AB 12 was a really big accomplishment for all the young activists going out there. I was able to go to Sacramento and talk to the different legislators out there. And it was just a great experience to see how people are willing to help foster youth laws change. But there's so much that needs to be done. And I personally believe that it needs to start with the stability in the foster home and changing the 7-day notice policy so it's harder for foster youth to be moved from house to house.
Okay, wow, Justina, you just introduced a lot of wonderful things that we need to talk about. And I say wonderful because a lot of our community listeners that's listening to our radio show, they don't know what a 7-day notice is. And so if you're listening to Foster to Foster radio show right now, you can hear my voice. A 7-day notice simply is your foster parent or the group home can call your social worker and say, in 7 days, I want Anissa to leave my house. And I have 7 days and I have to leave. So that's what she's saying by a 7-day notice. Also, Jasmine brought up a topic that we need to explore a little bit more, and that is stability within group homes. And I have to tell you, Jasmine, I'm going to ask you to come back in because in January, we are going to talk about why do kids move so frequently? As I go for between Northern California and Southern California, I have had 72 foster youth ask me that question. Why do we have to move so much? So, Jasmine, you have an open invitation to join me on that day. I do have to break for a short commercial break. Please rejoin us and hear the voices of foster youth. We are listening to Foster to Foster radio show. Start your holiday season with the gift of education by supporting foster youth education services and the Unstoppable Scholarship Program offered by Education Works Consulting Firm. Help us provide court-appointed education services and a wonderful scholarship program to improve the education outcomes of foster youth. Please donate to our crowdfunding campaign today by visiting our website at www.edworks4u.org. Help us give the gift of education, a gift that keeps giving. The Hair Garden, where we grow hair from the roots, is a full-service hair salon and supplies located at 40119 Marietta Hot Springs Road, number 103C, Marietta, California. We are open on Mondays through Saturdays from 9 to 6 p.m. Come in and purchase your hair supplies or receive a full hair service or let us restore your hair. We have weekly specials. Call The Hair Garden at 951-698-8444 or visit our website at www.hairgardenmarietta.com. That's www.hairgardenmarietta.com. We look forward to seeing you. Happy holidays.
Imagine that you're among the 4 out of 5 people who received help paying for quality health coverage through Cover California at the lowest possible cost. Imagine seeing a doctor for everyday aches and pains, unexpected emergencies, and preventative care. Imagine receiving help finding a health plan that's absolutely right for you and your family. Imagine not having to imagine.
Covered California. It's more than just health care. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com to find free, local, in-person help or enroll online by December 15th to have coverage by January 1st.
Right Way Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports transition-age foster youth throughout the Los Angeles County. Our goal is to reduce the homelessness and unemployment rates and to increase the high school graduation and college enrollment rates. We do this by providing individual case management and mental health services to each participant to increase their self-sufficiency. To get involved, please visit our website at www.therightwayfoundation.org or call our office at 323-903-5021. Jumping into Foster to Foster with your host, Dr. Anissa McNeil. Welcome back. You're listening to Foster Foster Radio Show, and I'm Dr. Anissa McNeil. On the line with me, I have Julian and Xavier. I also have Mario, Justina, and Jasmine. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. If you've been listening to our radio show, you just heard Julian, Xavier, Mario, Justina, and Jasmine. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to leave or to exit the foster care system at 18. And what you could hear over and over is the word scary. If you could imagine leaving the safety net of what you knew as being foster care and now being an adult and being on your own, I want to talk to you a little bit about some of what AB 12 is. Right now, AB 12 is voluntary. Can you explain to our listening audience, you guys, Justin, Julian, Xavier, Justina, and Jasmine, what does the word voluntary mean? Can you explain that to our listeners a bit?
Basically, you have to.
Hang on, I need for one of you to speak at a time. I'm sorry. I need one person to speak at a time. So I think I hear Julian. Julian, can you explain it to us a bit?
Yeah. So basically, we had to meet some requirements to be in AB 12, which was like, you had to qualify for it. For me, I had to qualify, and basically, they give you benefits for helping you with rent, with food, and it really does help because I have an older brother that was in foster care too, and he didn't get the same benefits I got. He got packed bags and time to go.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Right, because that's how we used to do it before. We used to pack your bag and say, have good luck with life.
Yeah.
But now we have
now they have AB 12, so.
So talk to us a little bit. Let's see. Xavier, can you tell us what does it mean to say I qualify for AB 12? What does that mean, Xavier?
It's kind of like I guess you could say it's like a job application. So they want to see if you meet the criteria. So they want to make sure you either are going to college or any kind of vocational school or trade school, or you're working. And if you don't meet those criteria, and plus you have to graduate high school. So if you don't meet these three criteria, one of the high school and then one of the two other criteria is college or working, you do not qualify for it. So that means you're on your own.
Wow. And you listening audience, you hear me say wow, because if you've listened to Foster to Foster radio show, you know that here in the state of California, we have 60,000 foster youth, but only 50% of them graduate from high school. So of all of the candidates that are 18 years old that could qualify for AB 12, only 50% of them would meet one of the criteria, and that is graduate from high school. So if you don't graduate from high school, how do you meet that? Or are you one of the individuals that we say, thank you so much for being in foster care and we wish you a good life? Can you talk to us a little bit about that, Justina? Is that what happened to you? Jasmine, is that what happened to you?
I definitely, for me, this Jasmine, that definitely happened to me. So my little story real quick is I had a lot of abuse with school, so it was really hard for me to finish school. But because I didn't finish high school, they wouldn't help me find any type of housing. They told me there was no housing for youth like me, and it was actually a lie. There were housing. They just didn't want to stick their neck out for me because they felt however way they felt. And it's been an uphill battle, but I'm definitely starting to get the hang of it.
Okay, and how old are you now, Jasmine?
I'm 23.
You're 23 now. So from 18 to 23, what did that look like for you, Jasmine?
Well, for me, it was from 19 to 23.
Okay.
Because I had mental health services, and it let me stay for another year. But for me, it was couch surfing, Denny's sleeping, shelters, a lot of angry moments, but then also really good programs, really good support with mentors and things of that sort, and different opportunities. And right now I'm in a housing program with the place called the Dream Center. So it's really amazing, and I got that connection with the Right Way.
Okay. And when did you come to the Right Way Foundation?
When I was 22. And they actually were the most helpful organization I've been with as far as with jobs and housing.
Okay. So from 19 to 22, you were couch surfing or sleeping at Denny's, basically homeless.
Correct.
Okay. And Justina, what was this experience like for you?
My experience, I was homeless right when I exited. October 31st was my first day of homelessness. And I've been through shelters, couch sleeping on the jungle gym, waking up to footprints above my head, being robbed, all types of horrific events. And I did not have any benefits. My adoption was finalized at 11. So I automatically left with nothing but the clothes on my back and in my hand.
Wait, Justina, you said that you were adopted?
Yes, I was adopted. My adoption was finalized at 11. My parents are not amateurs when it comes to the adoption and foster care system, so it kind of doesn't make sense for you to finalize my adoption at 11. It would make sense to wait until 16 at least, to where if you put me out at 18, I still qualify for some benefits.
You're going to have to help our listening audience out a little bit, Justina, because for most people, when they hear the word adoption, then that would mean that you're no longer in the foster care system. But if we hear you correctly, you were adopted at 11, and then you were adopted from foster care at 11, and then at 18 asked to leave by your adoptive parents?
Yes. I've been to 15 different foster homes.
So from 15 different foster homes, these adoptive parents found you and adopted you and then put you out at 18?
I wasn't literally found. I was more of donated, as in tossed to, as in a last resort type of option. Okay, I'm going to give you a brief rundown.
Okay.
My foster dad's mom's twin sister was my caregiver. She passed away, rest in peace. Basically, nobody else in the family wanted me. They wanted to keep me in the Mayers's family. So basically, the parents that I have now, they basically were my last resort. You know what I mean?
Okay, I get it. Yes. I get it. So your foster parent passed away, and her biological, him or her, their biological family then adopted you out of necessity or what?
Yes.
Some emotion, some catalyst made them adopt you. I got it.
Yes.
Okay. And I wanted to clarify that for our listening audience, because if you can imagine, if some of our listeners don't know a lot about foster care. So when they hear words like adoption parents or I'm out at 18 and homeless, we kind of have to frame that conversation for them so that they'll understand it. I am blown away at the sheer fact that here on our phone call and our radio show today mirrors exactly the statistics that we read about. If we just listen to the 5 individuals that we have on the phone today, you will hear that 3 of them, when they emancipated from the system, they had nowhere to go. 2 of them have expressed, Justina and Jasmine have expressed that they were homeless. Xavier had the opportunity to exit and make a decision to utilize AB 12 and have some resources. Julian had a different experience in foster care. Julian reports that he had great foster homes and a really good social worker. So I want to reach back out to Julian. Julian, can you tell us, at 18 years old, where did you go and what were you doing?
Well, I just graduated high school. My foster parents told me I had to leave by a certain day, but I ended up moving in with my brother, and I'm renting a room, and I had to qualify for AB 12. I went to school and I was working, and you have to work a certain amount of hours too if you're going to school.
And how many hours do you have to work to qualify?
At least 23, or at least 23 hours or more.
Okay. So if you're listening to the sound of our voice, if you just heard Julian and you are a foster youth and you are ages 8, you're going to be 18, or you are 18 and you want to qualify for AB 12, you must graduate from high school. You must enroll in college or be working at least 23 hours to qualify for AB 12. So make sure that you have some of those things in place so that you can qualify. I want to talk a little bit about finding housing. And I want to talk about this with Julian, Xavier, Mario, Justina, and Jasmine, because this has been a very interesting process for me. As I work with my young adults who are now 18, I am baffled that the social worker now says to this young adult, now find a place to live. And I literally said to a social worker last week, excuse me, you're asking this person to find a place to live? Whom would they call? Are they going to call a cousin, a relative? Whom would they call? Oh, well, here's a list of agencies. I said, have you taught the young person what to say when you call the agency? Now here's a number. I pick up the phone, and what in the world do I say? And the social worker said to me, well, AB 12 is voluntary. The person, the foster youth, has to take the lead. So we need for them to call around. And I have to tell you that I was not only taken aback, I was very shocked that we didn't take the moment to teach or to show or to mold so that that person would really find a place to stay. And who would know if the person that they called, a friend or someone they went to high school with, who would even know if that home was safe? So I'm going to open up that question to you guys. What do you think about that? Announce your name and then answer. What do you guys think of that?
My name is Xavier Mountain, and I think that's completely ridiculous. I will have to say, some people give more credit to sometimes than it really is supposed to be. I mean, how are we supposed to know anything? Nobody's educated us. We're always moving group home to group home, foster home to foster home, shelter to shelter. And in that time, how are we able to build bonds or even build a connection with anybody so we can grasp the information so that we can do this? We're more worried about survival. Surviving meaning we want a place to stay. We want to readjust our personality so that we can accommodate our foster parents' lifestyle so that we don't get kicked out. So we're more worried about surviving than we are worried about how we are interacting with things and how we're supposed to do things. Like, we're more worried about what are we going to do now to make sure that we can stay here now. So I think it's completely ridiculous, and I think it should be adjusted and be addressed more so.
Thank you, Xavier. Anyone else?
I agree with what Xavier's saying. It was more like survival.
And who is speaking now?
Julian.
Julian. So it was more survival.
Yeah.
Wow. Mario, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with both of them. It's survival.
It's Jasmine. Of course, it's survival, but as far as like one, just survival. When you leave and they're telling you, here's a sheet of paper, figure out some housing and get back at me. That is probably like the hardest thing, on top of still trying to adjust in society. And if you're a youth who's been through a lot of trauma, dealing with the traumatic things and trying to stay stable in that mindset in your head, trying to stay stable in your head while trying to find housing and a job and school, because a lot of these programs, they require all of these things. I also think that they treat youth as soon as they get into the system like adults and criminals and not like youth.
Okay. Thank you, Jasmine. Justina, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on this is it was extremely difficult for me. I was closed in. And I was very closed in. It was hard for me to find housing. I didn't have the resources. My first day of homelessness was the 31st of October. I went straight to a shelter.
And that was the 31st of October of this year?
Of 2014.
Wow.
2013.
13. And how long you were homeless until you went to the Right Way Foundation a year ago?
I am currently homeless, and I'm also a Wednesday's child.
Oh, wow. Okay. For our listeners, if you don't know what Wednesday's child is, Justina, can you describe that for our listening audience?
A Wednesday's child is an individual who has been adopted and is basically featured on Channel 11. I believe Miss Christine Devine's show, and they basically follow the child each year and see how they've been doing and take you to an amusement park and basically.
Okay. So you were featured on Channel 11 here in Los Angeles as a part of the Wednesday's Child program that happens each week here on that show.
Each year, ma'am.
Each year.
Each year they gather up and they go to an amusement park, and the TV show follows all the students, sees them interacting with the rides and having fun with their adopted families and things like that. It's where the adoptive parents and foster parents put on their masks and pretend to be good.
Wow. You can hear, if you're in our listening audience, if you can hear that these young people did not receive the instructions of how to take the next step. How do you, one, find housing? Because we all know that housing is critical to being stable. You're not stable if you don't have housing. You're not stable if you don't have food. And we can hear all five, Julian, Xavier, Mario, Justina, and Jasmine, say that that first step was hard without teaching or educating young people about how to take that first step. And I have to tell you that as I work with foster youth all over our state, many of our foster youth are not taught the skills of how do you evaluate if a home is safe? They've never had to evaluate that. This system called foster care did that for them. How do you find housing? They've never had to find housing before. This system called foster care found a house for them. So if you can imagine, I want my listeners to really think about if you were 18 and you were told that Friday's your last day. We want to give you a 7-day notice. You're going to be 18. Friday's your last day. you have to be out by that time. Where would you go? Who would you call if you were 18 and you didn't know your family? That's what these young people are faced with. So now I want to talk a little bit about, there's a lot of feedback. If you could put your phone on mute when we're not talking. I want to talk about what it's like to find a job as you exit the foster care system. I'm going to start with Xavier because Xavier was able to go into transitional housing program. Oh, I'm sorry. We lost Xavier. Then I'm going to go to Julian. Julian, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to find housing when you exited the foster care system? I'm not housing. I'm so sorry. A job, employment.
There's many programs, but sometimes it's really hard to get in them because you have to be able to go to your IOP classes, which is independent living classes that you take when you're in foster care. But some of my foster parents wouldn't take me to go to IOP, or I was busy doing sports and stuff like that. But I know in San Jose they have a whole complex where a bunch of foster youth can stay.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Xavier. Mario, what was it like for you to find employment?
Luckily for me, I came to the Right Way Foundation, and they helped me find a job at the LAX airport.
Okay. And you've been working there consistently?
I just currently started.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Justina, you shared with us earlier that you were homeless starting October 31st of 2013. So I can only imagine that it was a struggle to find a job.
Yes, it was. It was an intense struggle. I still to this day haven't filled out a W-2 form. I just came to the Right Way Foundation a week ago, and they've been guiding me in the right direction. And currently, I work at the car wash that I obtained on my own.
Okay, Jasmine, what was it like for you to find employment?
It was cool. Right Way Foundation really has been the big help. It's hard to just jump into the work field. You know, I've been a part of their classes. I've been a part of several of their internships, and with the Right Way Foundation. And I just finished up a really great internship where I got 200 hours to help an art organization, and it was really cool. So now I'm looking more into that as a career.
Okay, but tell us a little bit about what it was like from 19 to 22 before you found the Right Way Foundation. What was it like to find a job or employment?
It was hard because I was dealing with a lot of mental health. I come from a very traumatic background, so I wasn't ready to work when I first got out of the foster care system. So for me, but I was doing contract work for another organization, and I was making maybe $100 here and there for like really long hours work. So that was kind of hard, not having the proper resources to get to the right job for me, you know. So I kind of just lived off of pennies for a lot of years and just worked on networking, worked on my confidence, worked on my mental health. And then I came across the Right Way Foundation, and I was ready for them, and they were ready for me.
I'm going to ask you, Jasmine, you said that you stayed 1 year additionally in foster care for mental health services. So as you exited foster care, knowing your mental health needs, your social worker did not put anything in place so that you wouldn't leave foster care already receiving mental health services and not just enter and not have a place to stay, services, or a job? Help us.
Yeah, they told me because I didn't finish high school, they couldn't help me. I had a whole meeting with everybody, but my tutor wasn't coming, and it was a lot of, I am definitely somebody who fell through the cracks, definitely a statistic, but And it was just really stupid. I mean, I felt like it was kind of common sense. Like, I didn't have no idea. I was 19. 19, there was a lot of traumatic things. So 19, but kind of 17, you know. It was really hard. It was a lot of tears. It was a lot of anger. I'm surprised I'm not as bitter as I could be.
I can hear you sound very confident now, Jasmine, and your resiliency will pay off for you in life. It really will. I want to encourage you to stay a part of the Right Way Foundation and to continue to do the work, because your resiliency, it will pay off for you. It will.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I want to explore a little bit. As you can hear, listeners, you're hearing the voices of our own foster youth tell their experience of what it's like to exit the foster care system. Earlier, I gave you some statistics about foster youth, 50% not graduating from high school, 50% experiencing homelessness after they leave the foster care system. What happens to the young ladies? What the statistics tell us is many of them are pregnant by the age of 21. What the statistics tell us is that of the foster youth that exit, a great percentage of them become convicted felons, convicted criminals. Why is this happening in our society? Can we do better? These are young people for no fault of their own. If you enter the foster care system, you enter because of abuse and neglect at the hand of your parent. And I just want to implore, I want to ask our community to please get involved. If you can hear my voice, you're listening to the voice of a young woman or a grown woman now. But when I was a young girl, my parents did not have the ability to take care of me. I was a foster child. I was homeless. So I know the struggle firsthand of what they're talking about. Without guidance from my family or help from my grandmother or just sheer tenacity and resilience, like I will graduate from college, I would not be on this radio show as a college graduate, a doctor in my field. I want you to hear their voices. I want you to hear their truth and ask yourself, how can I get involved? How can I help? How can we as a community allow this to be so? I want you to think about foster youth not as somebody else's child, but as your child. If you go to my website and you look at the logo that we have for my foster youth education program, you'll see that I have a young child as the logo. But you'll see underneath that logo, you'll see these words, I am your child. Why? Because we all make up our communities. We all deserve an opportunity to grow, to thrive, to be healthy, to have a place to stay, food to eat. How can we listen to their voices today? How can you hear and not be encouraged to do something? If you want to get involved, please call my office. Please call us at 213-634-0044. And I want to help you get involved. Help us educate foster youth so that they will not become homeless, so that 50% of them will not leave the foster care system without a high school diploma or a GED. Help us in this cause. Please help us. Now I'm going to ask you, Julian, Mario, Justina, and Jasmine, as we get ready to close the show, if you had anything that you would want to say to our listening audience, anything that you would want them to know, what would that be? I'm going to start with you, Jasmine. What do you want the audience to know? How can they help?
I would like the audience to know that if they want to know more about foster youth, please go to the Right Way Foundation and learn more. If you want to help, get involved in an organization that's working with foster youth. And also, just continue to think about stability and creating that at home.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jasmine. Mario, what would you like for the listening audience to know about foster youth?
Well, just to support us and help us in any way they can.
Wonderful. Thank you. Julian, what would you like for the listening audience to know?
Well, as foster youth, we really need help guidance, and help with other things like programs and services, and just look up more information and do some homework.
Wonderful. You want them to know that you really need the help. Thank you, Julian. Justina, what would you like for our listening audience to know?
I would like to let the audience know that it takes a village to raise a child. It's not just one person, it's everybody.
Wonderful, wonderful. I want to thank you, Julian, Justina, Jasmine, Mario, and we lost Xavier, but I know that Xavier's listening there up in San Jose. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your courage today to come onto the radio station and to tell your truth. That's why I created this radio show. It's called Foster to Foster. I want us to have a voice so that the world can hear our truth, not from a statistic, not from a book, not from a TV show, but from the voices of foster youth. Your voices matter to me. They matter to a lot of people. So I want to encourage each one of you. Julian, keep working, stay in school. It will pay off. It will pay off. To Mario, good job with your new job at LAX. Keep working, go to school. Stay involved with the Right Way Foundation. I know that you're executive director, and I can tell you, if you stay involved and you do the work, good things will happen. Justina, you are my brave warrior, sweetheart. From October 31st, 2013, you overcame homelessness. You're a bad girl, and I love it. You, like I, can overcome homelessness, and you can go on to do many great things. So I want to encourage you to stay apart, stay connected with the right organizations. You have a lot to offer, and I want you to stay encouraged. Keep doing the work. It will pay off. And to Jasmine, who has done the work to make sure that you are in a great mental place to get a job and engage as an adult and keep working. I want you to stay encouraged that you can do it. And if you keep working and do all the work, it will pay off. I so very much appreciate all of you for joining us here today on Foster to Foster Radio Show. My name is Dr. Anissa McNeil. I do the work, and I tell the stories of foster youth. Thank you for listening. Can they all join me on the...
Did you know Cover California can help you find a low-cost quality healthcare plan that's absolutely right for you and your family? Did you know there's coverage for unexpected emergencies and everyday aches and pains? Did you know free preventative care like blood pressure and cholesterol screenings are also provided to stop small problems from getting bigger? Well, now you know.
Covered California. It's more than just healthcare. It's life care. Visit coveredca.com to find free, local, in-person help or enroll online by December 15th to have coverage by January 1st.
Right Way Foundation is a 50... Start your holiday season with... Right Way Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports transition-age foster youth throughout the Los Angeles County. Our goal is to reduce the homelessness and unemployment rates and to increase the high school graduation and college enrollment rates. We do this by providing individual case management and mental health services to each participant to increase their self-sufficiency. To get involved, please visit our website at www.therightwayfoundation.org or call our office at 323-903-5021.
Brought to you by Covered California. It's more than just health care, it's life care. Visit coveredca.com to enroll by December 15th to have coverage by January 1st.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of BuySellMakeOffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
Pens and Calphalon Pots and Pans is in talks to merge with Jarden, the owner of names like Mr. Coffee, Yankee Candles, Oster Appliances, even Rawlings baseball mitts. Meantime, the Federal Trade Commission is suing to stop another agreed-upon merger, a $6.3 billion deal between Staples and rival Office Depot, saying the combined company will have too much pricing power. On Wall Street, a sharp drop in the price of oil and natural gas sending energy company shares lower today. And at the close, the Dow was down 117 points, the Nasdaq lower by 40. Crude falling to a 7-year low. It's now back under $38 a barrel. An activist investor, Carl Icahn, offering to buy out Pep Boys for $835 million. That's more than Bridgestone previously bid for the retailer. Tom Busby.
Colonel Sanders here with another important holiday message from KFC. This year, don't get the one you love some lame, boring gift like jewelry or toys or a new car or any other junk. No, get that special someone what they really want. Exactly. A KFC $5 fill-up with 100% white meat, popcorn, chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy, a biscuit, a cookie, and a drink. It is the perfect gift for that important person in your life who gets hungry right around lunchtime. Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's finger-licking good.
Available for limited time only. Pricing and participation may vary. Tax extra.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is our New Year's gift to you. Circle this date, Friday, January 15th. You're invited to start the new year off right with a subscription to BuySellMakeOffer.com. Some other selling sites can be sketchy, and even others will charge you a fee on every item you list. But with BuySellMakeOffer.com, you can sell your washer, dryer, cars, or even your home with no per-item fees. And you can use Skype, make a video. You can actually see the person you're buying from, or they can see you, all to better sell your product. Wouldn't you like a feeling of security when you buy or sell? That's why we call it BuySellMakeOffer.com. And you don't have to wait until January 15th to find out what the buzz is all about. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and type in your email address so you'll know exactly when the fun will begin. The first 30 days are on us, and then it's as little as $7.95 per month to sell up to 50 items. Join the revolution in online selling with BuySellMakeOffer.com.
Good afternoon. It's 4:03. I'm Di Rice with the very latest in live, local, national, and international news here on KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM. Republican presidential candidates are blasting President Obama's address on defeating ISIS. Obama spoke to the nation in a primetime address from the Oval Office last night. The president promised that the U.S. will defeat the terrorist group, but Republicans running to succeed him say that Obama said too little about how he plans to take out ISIS. GOP frontrunner Donald Trump tweeted, "Is that all there is?" Florida Senator Marco Rubio said that Obama did nothing to address America's concerns. And San Bernardino is still reeling from last week's attack that brought bloodshed and shock across the region. The community is still processing the fact that the massacre is being investigated by the FBI as inspired by ISIS. Many sermons yesterday carried messages of condolences and hope in area churches. San Bernardino Clergy Association is planning an interfaith prayer vigil tonight with the Inland Empire African American churches. That happens at 7 o'clock, and it will be held at Our Lady of the Rosary Cathedral on West 25th Street. California State University San Bernardino will also hold a candlelight vigil on campus tonight at 6:30 to remember the victims, their families, and friends. The vigil is open to the community. And then up in the high desert, 38-year-old Teresa Reed of Victorville has been arrested for murder of a newborn baby. Deputies found the baby in a parking lot at 7th Street and Green Tree Boulevard in Victorville. An autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. Inland Empire weather, variable clouds with us all week long, bringing a possibility of showers by Thursday or Friday. Let's see, overnight lows tonight about 45 degrees, and we'll be cooling down into the 70s by Thursday and the low 60s by Friday. Checking out your drive. It's not looking too bad out there. Waterman is still shut down north and southbound between Orange Show Road and Hospitality Lane. And in Moreno Valley, you have stop and go on the 215 northbound between Cactus and Alessandro Boulevard. That is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind. KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
What is San Bernardino going to do with the Carousel Mall? Keep track of the mall development and more local news in the San Bernardino City News. Local sports, education, business, and entertainment news in print and online at sanbernardinocitynews.com. For those of you traveling by air to celebrate this holiday season, LA Ontario International Airport wants you and your family to have a fun and safe trip. For your convenience,
remember, TSA travel rules are for your safety and those of others. LA Ontario International Airport reminds you to arrive early and check with your airlines for flight delays or cancellations.
ONT offers 62 daily flights to 15 nonstop western cities. This year, Santa brings your airport the Pause Pet Assisting with Smiles stress relief program. So, make sure to stop and pause a while, then sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. For more airport information, please visit us at lawa.org.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
This is the YouTube Radio Show,
Guess who used to be a fat kid? This guy!
the official radio show that features superstars of YouTube.
Those breasts are amazing.
Take something that you can fix your lips into and just suck on it as hard as you can.
I want to make you goddamn cookies, but I don't want to make them right now! I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
No!
Now, here's your host, the Poor Man. Well, guess what? It's not the Poor Man. But you know what's even better? Is that I hear myself delayed. But that's okay. I guess I'll get used to it. My name is Pat Matthews, and I am filling in for the Poor Man today because we have the YouTube Radio Show. And we have to continue the YouTube Radio Show because this is the greatest idea that anyone has ever had in the history of radio. Now, you thought I was going to say in the history of YouTube, but that history is not very long. Not a lot of historical facts going on with the YouTube. It's been on since about 2005, so I think maybe they're celebrating a decade of YouTube. Okay? So, anyway, our guest today is a guy, and you know what? I'm not gay, but I got to say, he's a very good-looking guy. He's a young guy. He lives in California, and his name is Cordero Roman. And Cordero does pranks, and he also does social experiments. And I find social experiments to be very compelling. And that's the reason why he is on the show today. In fact, Cordero has close to 45,000 subscribers as we sit here today. We'll find out how many years he's been in the YouTube business. And by the way, if you check out how many views he's had over 4 million views of his videos. And I believe he's got something like 43 videos. But Cordero had a social experiment that we're going to listen to in just a little bit that I find very interesting. And but first, I'd like to listen to the first video that we have that he's just posted recently not the promo that he did for us yesterday, but the one about getting Halloween dates, and it's called Halloween Pickup Lines. Let's take a listen.
Did I scare you? Great. What's up, guys? So I know Halloween is a very fearful time for a lot of single men out there. They see all these women running around in their scantily clad outfits and they want to strike up a conversation, but they have no idea what to say. Well, fear not. I made this video to ensure that the scariest thing about Halloween is how many chicks you're going to pull. So thanks for watching. Happy Halloween.
Are you excited for Halloween this year?
Wait, who are you?
Huh?
Do I know you?
Who are you?
I'm Cordero Roman.